This week I have a few things to work on. Some of it's real estate related, meeting with architects. Some of it's writing. I need to write a course on how to sell a YouTube show. And I even need to script our next show that we're working on currently for Lowe's. So there are lots of things to do. Come along for the adventure. One of the first things I'm working on this week is outlining the new show we're working on about opening a brewery. We're currently shooting 2 shows, and we've sold 1 to Lowe's already. And people ask us, like, well, how do you create a show? And I don't really know. So the way, at least in my head, that you create a show is you at least outline the content you're wanting to get, and then that kind of gives you an idea of where you're needing to go. In this document, I'm basically creating little bullet points of possible things we may cover in the content. So when we get into the shooting, we're not just shooting randomly. We sort of have a general idea of talking points, of voiceovers, and things to shoot in the content. Like in this sort of content, I'm talking about designing the tap room. What does that mean? I want to make sure we talk about the flow of customers. We want to cover the doors. And that's what I'm working on this morning, is sort of outlining the next few months of shooting and filming for the show. The plan is to open a brewery in downtown Panama City over the next 6 months. And we're going to film a whole show about how we did it. So Eric and I are collaborating on a trailer about the show that we're going to send to potential sponsors or content partners who may want to buy the content. This video needs to explain our previous project, the Warehome, and sort of the project we're working on right now, which is opening the brewery. And here's how Eric and I collaborate on this sort of content. All right, so what's up?
All right, I went through the feedback on the video.
Yep.
I do think, like at the very end, somebody said, why are we coming along? I want you to come along with us. Do you think that maybe because this will be a sponsor video, do you think that maybe there needs to be like one more line after that with like a call to action?
Being like, contact us if you want to have your product in this video.
Yeah, something.
Well, I think the email is going to set that up. I think the email, and also we're probably going to have 2 pages, like 2 brewery show pages, one for potential buyers and one for people potentially putting product in the video.
Maybe there's something that we could put, and now we're going on our next big adventure. This is Panama City. This is whatever. We're going to start a family. We got Jimmy. We got Sarah. We got a dog.
All right, give me a few minutes. I'll get this back to you.
All right, fine.
Bye-bye. Oh, Eric's always right. So we don't script shows, but we do sort of go back and forth collaborating on our voiceovers. Eric just gave me some talking points, and I'm about to record a voiceover to send him. It's not going to be a perfect voiceover, but it's a nice starting point, and him and I will bounce back and forth a couple times today and make the voiceover a little tighter, a little bit better. This is my mic. It's like an $80 mic, blue orb, nothing fancy. And then some people put like a fuzzy little thing on the top of it. But basically, I throw it over this thing and pull the little front forward, and it kind of softens the voiceover. My problem with voiceovers is I come in very strong with like a pop, pop, pop. My P's and T's are often too punchy. And this knocks some of the punch down on my voiceovers to smooth it out a little bit better. Just ordinary people who decide to buy an old warehouse in our city's downtown and turn it into our new dream home. We're the Branch family, just an ordinary family who decided to buy an 80-year-old warehouse and turn it into our... We're the Branch family, We're the Branch family, just ordinary people who decided to buy an 80-year-old warehouse in our city's downtown and turn it into our family dream home. All right, that's one. It was a long construction project. Welcome to downtown. This is downtown Panama City. And we're going to brew a business. Something like that. I use my hands to give myself inflection. That's a really crappy voiceover job, Alan. The larger the file I send Eric, the more work it is. So let me call Eric here. Who is he? How is he? He's on the toilet. Usually when Eric declines the call around this time, he's in the bathroom pooping. Oh, bullshit. I said, we're in downtown Panama City. Meet downtown Panama City, the place we call home.
Nice.
That's what I said. And then I said, meet I'm Alan, meet Anna, blah, 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 and we're gonna open a brewery. But I already say that in the next line though.
It would say, you could say brewing a business.
Yep, I like that better. Okay, I'll send it to you. I already forgot what he just said. Oh, yes, I feel like Casey Neistat. Casey Neistat.
The seatbelt is rubbing against your microphone.
It is?
Yes.
I'll tuck it under my moob.
There we go.
I am headed to meet with my architect, Antonio. Meeting with an architect is really about where dreams and reality kind of converge. Dreams, everyone wants to build beautiful, huge, spectacular looking things, but when you're meeting with an architect, you have to kind of draw those dreams back and what is feasible within a budget that will make you money. Oh, hello there. You gotta make sure you get your shoes on video too. Your feet turbans. This is the 6th Street building we're talking about with the architect today. It's 3,000 square feet. It was previously filled with vagrant people sleeping and playing with rats. And now we want to turn it into residential. We want a mixed use building, residential and commercial. What if it was one really, really small unit, one that was like clearly for one person on a desk? Multi-unit to me feels a little more diversified.
No, and plus, I mean, there is a total lack in the market.
What if you cut your, I'm just going to copy this.
Oh.
Right. What if you made a front porch this way in the front? And put a door here, a door here.
The only problem with doing this is we need to know the nature of that business.
Sure.
Because if it's an office, they don't have any gain out of it.
Right.
If they're doing sandwiches, slushes, whatever, then yes, has value. If we have the expanded canopy, I think it would be nice.
I like the canopy right there in the corner too.
Well, we need to create a pause. That's,
A what?
Pause. The brain is structured in a way that tends to simplify.
Right.
So that means that how the sun is hitting all the surfaces, it's just washing everything out.
Sure.
Because there is no overhang. If you give a straight shot where things are repeating, it becomes a blur of nothing.
Right.
At that point, your canopy is doing that for you.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden your building's got shade.
Yeah.
Nothing else has it.
Do you prefer to have a canopy that is bracketed from the top down?
Personal preference.
Yeah.
I like the top.
The top? Yeah.
The problem with that, though, we have an old structure. The mortar here, has been rained on and whatever else. But this one, from a structural point of view, will be a better option for the building.
Sure. Well, unless you want to design something kind of crazy. If you want to say, Alan, find some gears at a scrapyard and do I'd almost rather see a big gnarly bracket than hide it. Because to me, that's a selling point of
It's character.
Yeah, to add some character to it.
All right.
Here's where the architect stands now with the plans. If you look, there are 3 residential units, all studio apartments, 1, 2, 3. They all have front porches. We're talking about now extending the canopy around the building. And we may have in the front here, this area right through here, will be about 1,000 square feet of commercial space. I don't know if we should divide that into 2 smaller units or 1 larger unit. We're adding flower beds and trees to make it feel green and pretty. And we really want this to really be a jump start for that area of downtown. So we met with Antonio, Marcus, and Jeremy, the architects. And now we are headed back downtown to look at the 4th Street project, which is a different project, which potentially and hopefully will be a brewery. We're going to look at that property, meet with the general contractor, Richard Rigby, and Tim Whaler, my partner in the brewery. And we're going to go over ideas of what we want to put there. So this is a preliminary. We went from a collaboration meeting on rough plans, and now we're going to another project to talk about rough ideas for this project and layout before we start engineering and architecture. So here we go. Nice that. If you look at me, I have no sweat on me right now, but we're going into a building that has no AC running, and it will be 1,000 degrees. We're going to do a sweat check in about 20 minutes. See, 0 moob flop sweat right now. I will be covered in moob flop sweat T-minus 20 minutes. Marcus, Richard, And Antonio? My thought, I like to keep the ceiling kind of open.
Yeah,
and it's nice. Yeah, it's nice wood. And I'd love to not use spiral coil, but to save the money, run the ductwork we can fit it through the trusses. And the first thought we had was running the brewery down this wall in some fashion, but we need a big trench drain to hose into it.
Right now, we're designing 2 handicap bathrooms.
It's probably a good strategy to just have 2 handicap bathrooms in the moment. I don't think.
Square footage.
Yeah, but you're looking at what, 45 square feet instead of 70.
Yeah, it's like 3 more people in here.
Or the keg washer.
Or the keg washer, yeah.
You didn't even sweat.
Am I getting any flops?
Working hard. This is what hard work looks like.
No flops?
Got a little bit off the chest though.
Oh, there's some.
There's some.
Blood, sweat, and tears. You figure out what's blood, what's sweat, and what's tears.
This meeting was really successful in that we transferred our ideas that were in Tim and I's head into the general contractor and architect team. We're excited about the next steps. Okay, where do you want to shoot here? Just me looking this way or that way or what? What do you want me to do? Let me just turn like this. I think the hardest thing about entrepreneurship is knowing what to work on. And it's really a variety of tasks. It's keeping things going and cash flowing today, but also working way in the future. And going from a software company that I've owned and a consultancy that we've owned together, and going into real estate is a little bit different. With real estate, you're looking a year or 2 in advance even. So you're looking to acquire properties that you may not build out for a year. And so like I'm meeting with architects now, and those projects I'll start putting money to in the next few months, and then I won't start making money for a year into those. So it's much more of a further broadcast looking into the future than software development. Software development's much more what's cash flowing now, what do we need to work into in the next few weeks. Software development is built on iterations, 2-week iterations usually. And real estate is looking way into the future, 3 to 6, 7, 18 months in the future. And it's a balance. It's a balance of looking right now and cash flowing. It's a balance of looking into the future and knowing what to work on to gift you money later on, next year or 2.
What's up, man? I'm here to make that guy famous.
That is Dustin Bryson, one of my dearest friends, and he's come over to the house to interview me for his YouTube channel. There's a link to his YouTube channel in the description of this video. Don't slow Dustin at all. Not 1 second on Dustin.
I don't blame you.
If you can't find natural light in this house, then you can't find natural light.
You should quit.
Surely there's a window somewhere in the house during at some point of the day where there's natural light.
I want to know how you got started as an entrepreneur.
Okay.
I don't know when I started for my first company. I wasn't shoved into it. It was never encouraged to me, but my parents own car washes. I certainly have a fear of being judged and failing. You know, it'd be like if you disappeared for 6 months and worked out and only ate chicken breasts and came back, I'd be like, wow, it's this magical transformation. You'd be like, no, every day for 6 months, I was running. If I want to get here, it's just 365 days to get there. What's the path to get there? Break it down to days. A few months ago, I discovered Marsh Collective. They're a group of people in Opelika, Alabama, who are restoring downtown Opelika and the historic neighborhoods around it. It's not just about renovation, but it's about restoration of the hearts and the story of the place they love. Initially, I had a conversation with Ty on the phone. He's a super cool guy. But here, about a week ago, he said, hey, I'm coming down to Panama City for vacation. Can I run by downtown and see what you're working on? I absolutely love to get wisdom from people who are smarter than me, who have been through things that I haven't. So I accepted Ty's generous offer and offered to buy him lunch.
I guess you'd say we've been a 7 or 8 year overnight success, but for the first time now, we've got millions of dollars going into our downtown that's not ours.
Yeah.
In order to sustain the downtown, we've got to have more residential housing options, and so we've got this community. We would like to do 100 houses in about a 2-year time.
Wow. So this is where we're going to put the brewery. Got to take the safe out. There was tin in the ceiling that rust was crumbling on. I mean, you'd sit here and rust would fall on you. I think what we're going to do is over the bar area, come back in with a tin to kind of in the ceiling, just in that area, but whitewash the tongue and groove and stain the trusses.
My guess with your marketing, experience is that you're going to exceed that 3.5 or that 5 barrel system pretty quickly.
Oh, that's the plan. You want to go for a ride?
Yeah.
Let's go my truck.
This is part of the political nature of these small towns. It's hard. One thing that I've heard is really smart is you can't get, you need to aim for consent and not consensus.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's true.
Is the downtown actually?
Oh yeah, it's all even about a mile that way. Yeah. So I had an architect draw up. This board-up building is owned by the attorneys here. They own this parking lot too. I own the white canopy, but I had the same sort of thing: cutting holes in the side of this building, put 6 units in, make this a parking lot where it turns in. So you give us parking, and then I fix my space up, put 2 units in the back. You have 8 people living here.
The thing you're telling me, like I see a lot of stuff that you're telling, like you've already picked off a bunch of buildings, and there's no doubt in my mind that the right curator here could do 3 to 4, hospitality concepts.
I'm headed to lunch with my buddy Jason Glass. He is a former professional poker player, and now he's a salesperson, but he's still taking a lot of his learnings from playing poker and transferred them into sales. Just an interesting guy to talk to.
Me and my friends would just play for fun. We play like small little tournaments, $20 buy-ins, and then we start playing online poker a little bit. And then once you start playing online poker, you see all these high stakes games going. You're like, oh wow, you can live the dream. Yeah, online poker crashed one day, and then that changed life for a lot of poker players. One thing is with poker, you go over situations over and over and over again. With sales, it's kind of the same. You keep having the same similar conversations over and over again. You kind of know which direction to take it to. And I understand what questions to ask to get to the point to understand what their needs are for their business.
Sign me up.
What kind of card do you want to use, Alan?
I love it. That's it. That's good. So we just ate lunch with Jason Glass. Headed back to the Ware home to finish up Friday afternoon with some writing of courses. I'm creating a course right now for people to learn how I sold 2 YouTube shows to major companies and how I lined up sponsorships, and going back to write that content. Now that my family lives downtown and we own multiple properties downtown, it makes the most sense that we want to help our neighborhood flourish. And I don't have any grandiose ideas that I'm going to help revitalize downtown by myself. I need my fellow property owners and neighbors to really get excited. One of the people who I really admire downtown is Daniel, who owns a skate shop here. He has this really cool little parking lot, and we're meeting today about some ideas he could do with that lot. It could be more than just a parking lot, and Daniel knows that. It's exciting times. So the week is over. I've got a few things finished, but nothing is actually done. All these projects are just kind of pushed forward, which is sort of the mentality of an entrepreneur, is just to push forward projects. Nothing's ever done and complete. So here we are, the week's over, time for the weekend. See you next week.